How's it going, everybody? This is a review that I'm going to do on the Alchemy Custom Weaponry Quantico. This is a single stack 1911 chambered in 45 ACP which holds 8+1. So 8 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber for a total of 9. This is my first review I've ever done, so forgive me if this is a complete train wreck, but I will do my best to get through this in one piece and give you guys the information that I want to relay. The purpose of this review, I basically wanted to do a review from just an ordinary Joe Schmo's point of view. I have no affiliation with ACW. I have no affiliation with Nighthawk Customs. I'm just a regular guy. And you know, there's a few videos out there on the Quantico, but in my opinion, you know, the more videos, the better. This will help people gain more information about the firearm itself, and then maybe lead to more people out there using this awesome piece. So, starting off, what drew me to the Quantico? Well, 100%, it's the aesthetics. 1,000%. All of us are drawn to different brands for different reasons, you know, whether it's the shootability or the way it looks, but I would argue the vast majority of us want both. We want a gun that looks good, and we want it to shoot good too, and we want it to be reliable, of course. For ACW, what separated them from everybody else to me is that they have very, very, very classic lines. Classic lines of the 1911 minimalist, you know, none of these crazy XX features, but just basic 1911 that's absolutely beautiful. First time I saw this gun, I actually stumbled onto it by coincidence. I was watching a video. It was late at night. It was on YouTube, and you know, I'm just browsing the GunTube channels and all the different stuff, and then I see a video pop up from a channel called DEFCON, I believe it is, and it's ran by Nick Morrow. Nick Morrow is an individual who, at the time, he was responsible for their media output. This was back in 2021, March of 2021, actually. So I sat there, I watched the video, and I swear to God, I must have watched it at least 6 times that one night. I mean, it was just the most gorgeous gun I've ever seen in my whole life. It was just incredible. They were featuring the standard model. You know, mine is altered a little bit, and I'll get to that later. But you know, I knew that I wanted to have that firearm. I wanted to customize it a little bit and to make it mine. So literally the next day I put in an order. They originally quoted me, I want to say it was 8 to 10 months. I ordered it in March of 2021, and I ended up getting it just before Christmas, so December of 2021. So needless to say, it was an amazing present. Let's talk about the standard features that come with the Quantico. To start out, we have a forged frame. Forged frame and forged slide. It comes in a bead blast blue. It is hand fit. Comes with a match grade barrel. All right, and also match grade bushing as well. It comes with a tune and polish extractor. Comes with a billet ledge on the slide stop. That's just right here. And then also on this side, it's cut flush. I don't know if that's referred to as the HRT cut, but it's nice and flush. Moving on, it comes with ambidextrous safeties. So here and here. Extended billet steel magazine release. All right. And the ejector as well. So the magazine is nice in there. Oh, you know what? Before we start handling this weapon, let me show you guys that it's clear. Empty mag, empty chamber. Okay. So we are good to go. Now, it does not come with front cocking serrations, and it comes with a flat serrated black trigger. Mine, I have a curved one, but the standard option, it comes flat. Lowered ejection port, polished feed ramp, throated barrel, hand polish, ignition components, ACW fixed rear sights right here. And this comes with a 1.5 at 25 yard accuracy guarantee. And it also comes with checkered double diamond grips. So the gun itself, if you were to order it without any type of modifications or whatever else, it's an all blacked out gun. Stunning. I mean, it's a great looking gun. It's a mean gun. But again, I wanted something that was more for me and personalized to my taste. So when I ordered it, some of the options that I did, I requested that the barrel bushing, right, up here, the barrel itself, and the hammer and the trigger, all to come in chrome or silver, whatever you want to classify it as. I wanted the trigger to be a medium trigger, and I wanted it to be the curved version with no holes in it. Additionally, I added on the flared ejection port, I think it's called. I could be wrong, but this little cutout here, right? Lowered and flared ejection port, which, I mean, honestly, it's 100% visuals. It doesn't do anything to the functionality of the gun, whether you have it there or not. If you notice here, on the side of the gun, you don't see the Alchemy Custom Weaponry script, which is usually written here. It's a very unique and very awesome looking script that comes standard with the gun. However, if you wanted to, you could pay a fee of $100 to have that omitted. I paid that, and hindsight being 2020, looking back, I could definitely say it was the worst $100 I've ever spent, because I'd much rather have that script on here. But it is what it is, and I still love the gun as is. Let's see. And the last thing I upgraded from Alchemy when I first bought it is the gold bead front sight post here. All right, so that's all the upgrades that I got when I first ordered it. So I got the gun around December of 2021, and I mean, what can I say? It was the best firearm that I had ever felt, best firearm that I've ever seen, best firearm I've ever shot, hands down, bar none. I had it for a few months. You know, I went out, I just did some local range stuff and whatnot. I ended up sending it back to ACW a few months later, and this was purely for a cosmetic change that I wanted to be done. So if you look at the standard Quantico, the front of the gun, like if you look at the rail here on the frame, the front of it, in the very front, it sticks out just ever so slightly. And the way that it was explained in Nick's video was that it sticks out so that that cut aligns the stirrup cut, which is up here. I didn't have anything wrong with that, but I do like how a straight cut frame looks better. So I reached out to Nick, who ended up forwarding it to Rob Shallin, who was the head guy over at ACW. And I basically requested if they could cut the frame 90 degrees, just straight. Rob, he thought it over for, a day or two, and he's like, sure. So I sent it back to them. Ended up costing me, I want to say like 150 bucks or so. They cut that, and then they sent it back to me. And, just visually to me, it looks a lot better. I love it. So that was a very, very positive customer service experience for me, because, like I said, it was something that didn't need to be changed on the gun, but it's something that I wanted, and it wasn't offered in their basic package. So that was ACW going above and beyond to satisfy their customer, which I was very, very thankful for. So I got it back, and when I got it back, I didn't shoot it right away. I didn't shoot it for maybe a month and a half or a couple months, just because life and I was busy. When I took it out to shoot, I encountered my first issue with this firearm. Basically, what was going on was that on an empty mag, the slide is supposed to lock back to the rear, and mine wasn't doing that. So, you know, I fire a string of fire, boom, 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 I'm done. The slide, it doesn't lock back. I took a look at it. I was saying, hey, maybe it was my grip. Maybe I was applying a lot of pressure to the mag release here. And I continued to test it, but sure enough, I mean, it was 100% the slide not locking back when there weren't any rounds in the chamber. So immediately I thought it was the gun that was giving me issues. I pretty much use Wilson Combat mags exclusively, right? I have a couple power mags, and of course the regular ACW mag, but I primarily use Wilson because Wilson has just been the standard for great mags throughout the 1911 community forever. But basically, I would take the mag, I'd put it in my Colt, I'd put it in my Springfield, and it locked back just fine. I'd take out the same mag, I put it in my ACW, and it wouldn't lock back. So to me, you know, I'm not a gunsmith, I'm not a 1911 expert. I don't know it all. I just know that when utilizing the same mag, didn't lock back. It did lock back with the ACW mag, but it didn't with the Wilsons. And I was perplexed because it was still working in other guns. So I ended up sending an email out to Nick. I explained to him what was going on, and he's like, hey, you know, we're more than happy to take a look at it. They sent me a FedEx slip. I put it in the mail. I sent it off to them. When it got there, they ended up telling me that it was the magazines that were bad. So they end up educating me on something that I didn't know about, you know, the followers and, you know, basically the condition of the follower at this angle here, right? That affects the magazine release. So, you know, they gave me the answer, and it boiled down to the fact that it was the magazines that were the problem. I was like, all right, cool. You know, they educated me. I was appreciative of that. And then they said that Rob Shallon had actually ordered me some new followers for my magazines. Once again, it's ACW going above and beyond. And I was like, wow, like that's really, really cool. What I didn't want though, I didn't expect them to pay for those followers because, you know, this is a third-party mag. It's not related to them at all. I didn't expect the warranty to cover it. So I told them, hey, I'll pay for that. Just let me know. Well, a couple of days it goes by, and then I end up getting a message from Nick, and Nick said, hey, your gun's done. We end up doing you a solid and replacing the magazine release. So I was like, okay. Again, I wasn't worried about it because if they're replacing something on the gun itself, right, that boils down to there was a mechanical issue of some type. Therefore, it'd be covered under warranty. So at the time, I was good with it. It's like, all right, hey, that's awesome. You guys, you know, you're replacing that. Once again, outstanding ACW customer service. Well, later that day, or maybe it was the next day, I ended up getting the bill. And I was thinking, you know, the bill was going to be, you know, in the low double digits because I was paying for the followers. Well, they ended up billing me for the work, the mag release, shipping both ways because it wasn't covered under warranty. All right, so hear me out. If something is mechanically wrong with the gun, and something on the gun is replaced, you would think that that was covered under warranty, right? The gun was still in brand new condition. It wasn't dropped. It wasn't any of that. You know, it was something that I felt was faulty with the magazine release. ACW told me the gun was in perfect mechanical condition. Everything worked fine. The problem was the magazines. So if the problem was the magazines, why would you replace my magazine release without talking to me first? Why would you not give me an option to be like, oh, it is the magazine release, and if it's going to cost money, then give me the option on whether or not to move forward with that work. But I wasn't provided any of that. They did me a solid, quote unquote. They changed out the magazine release and they gave me some new followers. So I was like, okay, I'm not really happy about that. I'm getting the bill, but you know what? Not a big deal, because when I get the gun back, I'm going to have both the new magazine release and my old one, because the old one belonged to me. Therefore, I can go forward and do troubleshooting with different mags and different, and swap out the magazine release lever and see if that was really the problem. It wasn't until I got the gun back is when I got really, really upset at what happened. And the reason why is because I didn't get the magazine release back, my old one. Again, to me, I was not pleased by that experience because I felt that ACW didn't want to pay for this warranty work. And again, in my opinion, it should have been warranty work. It left a bad taste in my mouth. It really did. I was upset for a while. It didn't leave so much of a stain to where I badmouthed them. However, I did make a position and a stance to counter anybody that said ACW had the best customer service out there, period, bar none, because of what happened. I basically wanted people to know that, they're good. They're very, very good, but they don't walk on water. And here's why. Now, having said all of that, okay, it took me a while to get over, but I did end up getting over it because, they're a small business, but they're up and coming and they're thriving. And the reason why they're thriving is because they're good at what they do. I also realized that, so I'm an extremely fair person, extremely fair. For the majority of situations that I've encountered in my life, even when it affects me personally, I try as much not to be biased. And I end up moving on because I gave ACW the benefit of the doubt, because I hold the responsibility too, that if I have an issue with the gun, still I need to bring it up to them, even if it's an issue with billing, if I have an issue with service, whatever. How are they supposed to correct something that they don't know about? It's not fair for me to go out and say, oh, well, they did this and they fucking suck. No, that's not true at all. They are a phenomenal company. So I own and I hold some of that burden also. Furthermore, I don't know what the circumstances are that led up to that. It could have been, that it was a simple oversight. They process dozens, if not hundreds, of guns every week. And it could have been just a small oversight. It could have been something that they could have explained better. Who knows, right? But I didn't let this one incident stain permanently what I think about the company as a whole. As a whole, they're a great company. And I learned to forgive and forget and to move forward. So, moving forward in this video. So that was one positive and one negative experience that I had with ACW. I got the gun back and, I took it out shooting, loved it. Back in January of 2023, this year, I decided I wanted to send it to Nighthawk Customs. And I wanted to send it to Nighthawk Customs for one reason and one reason only. And it's not because, you know, I was still feeling a certain type of way about ACW or whatever else. I was way past that. I wanted to send it to Nighthawk because I love their what's it called? Their magwell and mainspring housing. I love it. It's just, you know, the curvature, everything of it. It's absolutely phenomenal. This is what the original one looks like that came off. Nothing wrong with it. You know, it's a little bit more pointy on the backside here, but I wanted this. I also knew that if I sent it in and they put a new one on it and they blended it in and whatnot, that the color on the magwell would not match the Bee Blast blue. So I opted to do a complete different coating of the gun also. I ended up sending the gun to a gentleman over there named Bob Reeves. Can't say enough good stuff about him. He is just an amazing guy. Really, really, really cool. But I sent it in and I told him that I wanted the new magwell and I wanted the gun completed in smoked nitride. And if you don't know what smoked nitride is, it's basically the equivalent of having a worn finish. So like the fad of going out and buying jeans with holes in them, right? It's not honest wear, but it looks cool. So I sent it off. The gun was there for about a month before I called in and I wanted it changed. I was very concerned that the smoked nitride was a fad and that eventually it was going to burn out on me and then I'd have to pay more money in the future to have it done again. And I also, in the meantime, did research on DLC, and I know that DLC is just a lot harder and a lot more durable coating. So I ended up switching to DLC versus the smoked nitride, especially since they were the same price. So I opted for that. In addition, what I did on the back here, if you can see, I added a lanyard loop. Now, why would I add a lanyard loop? Well, I added a lanyard loop because for this magwell and for the non-lanyard loop version, they were the same price. There's no difference at all. So to me, why not have the extra ability to use this if you wanted to in the future? You know, if I end up carrying it for duty or whatever else. And also I added it for a little bit of a nostalgic reason since I was in the military and that's how we carried our M9. So other than that, I mean, it's just something that I looked at as another tool, another option, and a free bonus. Going back to the gun itself, I mean, it's just a tight gun. A lot of people wonder what the difference between, you know, having a custom gun and a regular production line gun, because I will say I can shoot my Colt just as well as I can shoot this, but I also say that I'm not the best shot, you know, so there's a lot of bit of room there. But what are you getting out of this that you're not getting on a Colt or a Springfield or, you know, just your regular production line gun? Well, what you're paying for is the fact that this gun is put together by hand, right? You're paying for craftsmanship. You're paying for the assurance that everything is put together perfectly. And I'll give you an example here. So this is my ACW, as you know. This is my Colt, right? First thing I'll demonstrate to you, okay? This is the sound that my Colt makes when I give it a little shake. Hear that? Okay. And yes, I am holding down the grip safety when I do that. So that's all rattle in the slide in the frame. This is what happens when I give my ACW a shake. Absolutely nothing. Everything is just extremely tight. If we look at the back here, right, you can see just everything is custom fit, nice and smooth to the touch, right? Extremely, extremely tight. Whereas the Colt, you know, you can obviously see some gaps and some openings and non-flushness back here, looseness in the rail, which isn't a bad thing. A lot of people think that your 1911 is supposed to be extremely, extremely, extremely tight. That's not. It's not necessarily something you want, depending on what you're using your 1911 for. But anyways, you're paying for, you know, the fit of the barrel, the tightness of the lockup, right? You're paying for your trigger jobs. Okay, so here I think on this gun I want to say it's in between, I want to say 3.5 to 4 pound trigger pull, or it might be a 3 to 3.5, one of the two, right? But so a little bit of take up here, and then very, very light pressure in the release. That's it. Again, in the release. Absolutely amazing. Beautiful. Let's see what else here. The grips are made by VZ Grips. They are the Diamondback grips, and the color is Hyena Brown. I think they complement the gun very, very well. The light that I have on here is a Surefire X300 Ultra, the A model. So they have an A model and a B model. The A model, the attachment equipment here is made for a quick release, whereas the B model is made for a quick release also, but it screws down. Honestly, I should have my B model on here, because this I have to, I mean, it's very, very difficult to get off, but one of these days I'll switch it back. I would argue, going back, and I've had experiences with Wilson Combat. I've had experiences with Nighthawk now. You know, the customer service out of the majority of all the high-end makers are just absolutely exceptional. But there's just something special about ACW. It's just something about them being a small company. You know, they're very, very friendly. They're very open. They talk on the forum, so they'll talk to you on Facebook. They'll talk to you on Instagram, email, the phone, whatever. So over there, you've got the 3 main people that come to mind. You've got Rob Shaw, and he is the guy he's in charge. He is the brains behind the ACW classic lines and the lineage. And he is the reason why ACW is here. Contrary to popular belief, he actually doesn't own ACW anymore. He is in charge of, I believe, both the Cabot and ACW operations overall, but he doesn't own it. And I read in an forum post that he makes, or that he did, he sure as shit doesn't make guns anymore, or he doesn't build your gun. So a lot of people, you know, like, oh, I want to get an ACW, I want Rob Shaw to build it, yada, yada, yada. That just doesn't happen anymore. He's way too busy doing other stuff and managing, you know, different things over there than sitting down and building your gun. There is things that he still does, from my understanding, as far as when stuff comes in for warranty. But overall, he's not building guns anymore. So Leave the man alone. Next, we got Nick Morrow. Nick Morrow, I like to refer to him as the millennial revolutionist. And the reason why, going back, he was the reason why I got into this brand. And it was a combination because of the classic lines of Rob, but also Nick Morrow pushing forward, having a rail on a gun. Okay. To me, I'm a big fan of railed guns. I will never not own a railed gun. It's an additional option that I figure you might as well have, just like the lanyard loop. Why not have it? Some people say he gives off the vibes as a used car salesman. I didn't necessarily think that at all. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's very, very cool, very, very funny, and overall good dude. And then the newest guy there, his name is Eli Duckworth. He is a 1911 obsessed, anti-polymer, John Moses Browning preacher. He lives and breathes everything that is the 1911 platform, which makes him perfect, in my honest opinion, for him to be the spokesman for ACW. You'll recognize him because he'll open up his videos with a "Hey y'all" with this very, very thick accent, and he's just a genuine dude. He's laid back. He'll do whatever. He will go above and beyond to take care of your needs as long as they're reasonable. He also coined the term gangsta over at ACW now, and there seems to be some older people who have issues with a gun being called gangsta. Gangsta is just another way of the new kids saying, that something is cool, or it's in, or it's hot. All right. It's not anything. It's not like saying gangster, which is a huge difference. So calm down, lay back. Everything's fine. Gangsta is perfectly acceptable. He's not saying the hard ER. You'll be good. The price. Let's talk about the price. So the price I paid for this out the door. Now, remember, this was back in 2021, March. So the price I paid for it out the door was right around $3,500. It was worth every penny to me. Since then, with all the upgrades that I've done, probably about $1,000 north of that, which hurts me to think about every time. But the end product, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this firearm. It's just stunning, absolutely stunning. So I'm just noticing there's a couple other things that I forgot to hit on when I was talking about the gun itself on the lower half. So if you didn't know, ACW, they're really, really particular about their firearms and the looks and everything about it. The grip screws are always aligned on both sides. So every time I change my grip screws or change out my grips, I make sure that I perfectly align the grip screws to be matching. So there you go. Rob, Nick, and Eli. I'm doing my best to make sure that the tradition is followed. On the lower half, I forgot to point out there is this undercut here, right? And that allows for a very high purchase on the gun, which is amazing. You have 25 lines per inch on the front, and they actually have this really, really neat, really nice type of lining of LPI, where in the center it's a certain pattern, and then on the sides it's a different pattern. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, it's really cool. And on the back side, even before I swapped this out at Nighthawk, it's also a 25 LPI backstrap as well. On mine, I wanted to point out, and I don't know why, but if you look at the printing here, it's always looked kind of shallow to me. It's not as deep as some of their other products that I've seen, but I mean, it's not anything that bothers me at all. Just something that I noticed. And then I also noticed with my particular firearm, so on this side for the ambidextrous safety, they usually, I believe they use a EGW ambi safety. And on mine, at the time when they were building it, they didn't have it in stock. Therefore, they used this Ed Brown type thin version. Again, that's just something that I noticed with mine. So if you guys notice that mine is different for some reason, that was not anything that was custom requested or whatever. It's just the way that it turned out. I also wanted to point out that I love how tight the serrations are here. I mean, it allows for just that positive, that positive grip, easy manipulation. So, I mean, what can I say? To me, this is the epitome of the 1911 platform. It is perfect in every way. Absolutely perfect for me. I don't regret anything about it. I don't regret what I spent on it. I don't regret what I've been through to get the gun to where it's finally at. It was a learning experience, and ultimately, I do have positive feedback for ACW when it comes to not only this firearm, but everything that I've seen, and how they really do try to go above and beyond to take care of their customers, which says a lot. On here, I wanted to show you too, this is when I got it back from Nighthawk. You can see its accuracy. This was with 200 grain, 45 ACP at 12 yards. So very, very cool. You can see that is extremely accurate. With that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I didn't bother you too much with my stammering through, but like I said, this is my first time doing this, and hopefully it was a pleasurable experience. And with that, signing off. Not looking for likes or subscriptions or anything like that. Just wanted to get this information out about this amazing firearm, and hopefully you enjoy it. See you guys out there later.